Since Oswald spent considerable time in a Soviet hospital, a few commissioned lawyers entertained the theory that Oswald might have been brainwashed and conditioned to be a sleeper assassin. Then he went haywire, i.e. he was accidentally turned on. The commission decided to send a letter to the CIA requesting information on the present status of Soviet mind conditioning techniques. A few weeks later, a CIA agent replied that this possibility was still a main school of thought at the CIA on the assassination, and although such techniques were still in a relatively primitive stage, this form of conditioning could be induced by drugs. The theory, however, was not further developed. That's from Oswald Works Towards a Goal. In Mind Control, Oswald and JFK, Were We Controlled? By Ken Thomas and Lincoln Lawrence. And I'd like to remind everybody, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll have Ken Thomas on my Blog Talk Radio show. The link is in the show description. Ken Thomas, writer, conspiracy expert, parapolitical expert, and sort of like the grandfather of modern parapolitics, will be on my BTR show tonight, so if you can, check it out. And also, if you haven't had a chance to listen yet, check out my interview with Adam Gorightly. We just barely scratched the surface. I'll have him on again, and we'll talk some more and fly off in a whole bunch of other different directions. So anyway, I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible because there's a tremendous amount of things that are going on. If I look disheveled to you, it's because for the entire week I have dealt with having to clean up snow from continuous snowing, stop, on, stop, on, stop, on all week. And I take care of my neighbor's property as well. So it's a large area that I have to shovel and clean and everything else. It cuts into my time tremendously, along with my regular work and my radio show and everything else. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the weather. It's obvious, everybody who's looked into this knows that the jet stream is completely screwed up. It's my belief that this is a direct result of tampering with the atmosphere through HAARP, the High Active Auroral Research Project, and other associated projects that are being conducted secretly by the military and its contractor offshoots. Okay, the jet stream is fucked up, and it's causing the strange and bizarre weather patterns that we're seeing. It's at least a major contributing factor. And so the massive cold, the shutdown of Europe practically by massive snowstorms, even snowstorms in the south where they don't get them, all this can be laid at the blame of tampering with Mother Nature. And this is the kind of thing that you would end. It's geared towards weather warfare, and this is exactly the kind of thing that you should expect to see as an outcome of fucking with what has been put there and has worked for billions of fucking years. Okay. I think that there may be a tie-in, not necessarily with the jet stream and that collateral damage from fucking with shit like the military does with the bird deaths and the other deaths of various things. Okay. If we're talking something in the water, I'm thinking this may have to do with long-range, over-the-horizon sonar technology, which, if you remember years ago, the Navy was being plastered by environmental groups because a form of their sonar was fucking up the ability of whales to navigate and causing a lot of them to beach themselves and die. I think there may be similar technology being employed, and that may be causing the stuff that's going on in the seas. Okay. As far as the birds, I think it's a magnetic thing, and I think that the fucking around with nature that our military and the super secret contractors behind the programs that they have going on may be fucking with shit on this earth. And it may be contributing to an already natural cycle. And that is a reversing of the magnetic poles, or, you know, a fluctuation in Earth's magnetic field which is causing these birds to maybe collide with one another. I don't know, I'm not an expert. But I look at the totality of all of this and I see that there is something down at the core of it, and I think it's fucking with Mother Nature. And I think that you can lay that completely on the military industrial complex and not only the government departments but also the wide-ranging super secret cutout groups and contractors that surround them. And that's just the thought to think about. Now, on to the shooting in Arizona. Jared Lee Loughner. Isn't it interesting? The very first time they come out with this guy's name, it's Jared Loughner. They couldn't even get his last name right. Jared Loughner, Jared Loughner. Then all of a sudden, it's his middle name. How come all of the assassins throughout, major political assassinations throughout the 20th century, everybody has 3 names? Most serial killers known by 3 names. Okay? And Lee pops up quite a bit in political assassinations. As I said in my radio show on Tuesday, I think it's Project Lee. It's some sort of CIA mind control program. It may not even be hands-on anymore. It may be self-running. Through various different avenues, people are channeled into it without even being directly controlled. And it certainly seems to me that Jared Lee Loughner is a product of some kind of control program. And while there's been so much talk placed on it, and everybody jumped on this from the very beginning, as I said they would, and tried to piece this out in a political fashion, okay? Blaming Sarah Palin and the Tea Party and right-wingers and all this kind of stuff. And yet you have this guy, as it slowly comes out, it paints a much more bizarre picture, because obviously this guy had his hands in so many different things. You can't peg him in a political hole. And I think the program on the part of the media establishment is falling apart, where they're trying to blame this on one side or the other and using it to further a political advantage is falling apart. And I think the end result here, in order to not expose the seedy underbelly of the erosion of the society in America by these undermining programs that may be, as I say, self-regulating and self-controlling already. That is, they automatically reproduce these people as a direct result of the fundamental understructural changes that they've made in society by their fucking around with people's fucking minds. Which is the most hideous fucking thing that anybody could ever do. So you have someone who looks like he's crazy, acts like he's crazy, can't even decide on a particular political point of view. And then there's the whole thing of whether he's Jewish and whether his family went to the same synagogue as the congresswoman, which is a total side issue. What's really going on? The other thing I want to point out, and I want to make absolutely clear, here you have a guy with 1 clip. He had 3 clips with him for his gun. Extended magazines, apparently carrying 19 rounds. He hit somebody with every one of them. This is not go to the gun range and shoot a stationary target while you take your stance, hold your gun steady, take your breath, pull the trigger, relax, re-aim, pull the trigger again in order to hit the target. This speaks of training. Whether it's something he physically did or it was downloaded directly into his fucking mind. In a chaotic situation like that, by the time you get to that last round, people are scattering around, running, hiding, doing all kinds of shit, and you're still able to shoot somebody. That speaks of rigid discipline and training. Wink! Wink! So what is the overall goal? I don't know. I don't know. I freely admit it. But there's something going on there. There really is. Now, I want to go on to the economy. In looking at the consumer sales over Christmas, a few people have pointed this out. And I want to jump on the bandwagon, because because I know I'm not the first to talk about this, okay? But I want to jump on the bandwagon. But before I say anything about the Christmas fucking sales, I want to point out something much more fundamental that you need to keep in the center of your fucking mind. And that is that an economy should not be judged by the amount of fucking shit that is sold and bought by people. That a sound fucking economy should be judged by employment, manufacturing, and production. So by those measures, we are a fucking destroyed nation. Okay. So, you're operating from a flawed fucking premise right from the very beginning when you talk about how, oh, it looks much better because holiday sales are up. Well, when you look closer at it, the high-end stores, high-end retailers, automakers that sell high-end vehicles all saw a jump of almost 2%. Wow. Walmart and other discount retailers saw a jump of almost 1.2%. Now, what does this tell you? What is the fundamental thing that this tells you? Huh? What do you think it's saying to you? What do you think it means? Do you think it means that the complacent upper class in this country is now completely reassured that there is not a thing that anybody in Congress or this administration is going to do to touch their motherfucking wealth? They're not going to be called on to contribute their fair fucking share to right the wrongs of this fucking economy. And the incredible income division in this country is going to continue into the foreseeable fucking future. Therefore, they feel confident in going out and buying a fucking Porsche. And the measly 1.2% increase, on the other hand, in discount retailers tells me that any purchasing that was done on a small scale by the ever small middle class, the ever smaller middle class, and the poor, because pretty soon we're all going to be serfs and living in poverty at the behest of our lord and masters on the manor, either working the land or doing the bidding of our masters as slaves. So that's something to consider. The rich feel very complacent now. They feel confident spending their fucking money that they ripped out of our fucking guts while destroying the entire American economy and continuing to fucking do so. And as I said before, the Fed has indicated, well, we're going to give money to foreign motherfucking banks, and we're going to give money to fucking private fucked up corporations. But to the states, municipal governments, and all of these other entities, you can go fuck yourself as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned, because they're not giving you a fucking penny. And the people in Congress, yeah, same thing. Oh, the states have been profligate and not living within their means, so I don't think we should be pushing for any kind of bailout for the states or municipal governments. Well, fuck you, Congress! If you had any fucking spine, you would nationalize the Federal Reserve right the fuck now! And put that credit to fucking good use. Salvaging this fucking nation! Instead of seeing to it that the entire world economic bubble of greed and fucking gutting of social programs and austerity around the world and the serfdom of the vast majority of people around the world ends. But you don't. And you won't. Unless the people in this country rise up in unison and decide to do something about it. So, thank you for watching. Don't forget tonight, Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Ken Thomas on Blog Talk Radio with me. And check out my archives there. And I want to thank everybody for their support, both here and at Blog Talk Radio. And I'll see you soon. Thank you. Good day.